Welcome to Bunter's Yard and part 1 of weathering brake vans. So this is part 1 of 3 that I've got planned weathering brake vans. I'm going to show different techniques to weather the humble brake van. Now I buy and sell quite a bit on eBay, and each time that I buy a job lot, which is like 3 or more, they normally include the wood brake van, and there were millions of these produced, and I own now more than 30 of them, and I need to start selling them back on eBay. I need to make them stand out a little bit, but they're pretty naff, aren't they? So in these next 3 or so videos, I plan to weather them using different techniques. So today's weathering video will be using airbrush, hence the title. So video 2 will be weathering using different brush techniques, and video 3 will be for flaky paint effect, again on the brake van. You can obviously apply these techniques to any type of van, it's just that I've got lots of these so I can experiment and practice, and if anything comes out good of these, then it makes them stand out a bit more on eBay, and I may have a chance of selling 1 or 2 of my stock of 30 plus. So let's turn around onto the bench, and we'll get started on video 1, airbrushing. So first thing we're going to do is to just touch in these handrails. This is Vallejo white. Just makes the detail, just makes it look a little bit. Adds a bit of value to it, I guess, and just makes it stand out from the rest. Using the side of a very fine brush. Doesn't really matter how well you apply it, because to be fair, lots of it's going to be obscured or even come off later, but it's just there. I think we need to do, because we're going to add colours on top, we use a Handrails matte varnish just to cover that up, so it now protects it from anything we do in future. Panzer dark grey is our colour of choice, and we're going to use that for grime. I'm just going to spray it all over the side, not massively heavy, but just enough. This is going to add a bit of grime and a bit of detail in some of the around the edges. So we'll just spray that on first of all. We just do a bit at a time. Don't rush it. Don't do it all at one go and let it dry, because if it dries, it's going to be a bit difficult to get off. So we need it while it's still a bit damp, and I'm just using a tissue. You can use a like a cotton bud, piece of cloth, your socks, whatever you've got to hand really. Only thing is with this blue cloth is that it leaves little bits of paper. It comes off, and as you'll see, I forgot to clean it off, but it seems to have gone on the final model. But yeah, just pay attention if you're going to use a paper cloth. There we go, there's a bit. So the idea is just to build up an effect of grime around the pieces where there's going to be no wear, nothing brushing past it, where the water would run from the rain and leave the marks running down from the top. So really just use vertical strokes. There we go, and there's it, complete with all the bits of paper stuck on it. Never mind, next time. Next colour is a smoke. This is again from Vallejo. You can't really see the effect on this on the video, but it just adds a bit more grime, just another layer of grime really to the top. So I'm concentrating on the top of the model and on the roof line, just to give it a bit of sort of gradation from top to bottom really. For the bottom, for the chassis, we're going to use a USAF brown. I might change that colour because I can't say it very well. USAF brown, and that just adds our
sort of track dirt from along the bottom of the chassis, and make sure we do the wheels, cover them in. We don't really need to do underneath, but I will. And the chassis you need to really spray from all directions, because it's there's lots of bits going on, so I normally spray from the top, from the bottom and the sides. Once that's all done, matte varnish, which is pretty much one of our final coats to go on. That just protects the model from handling in the future. I normally give this 2 coats, so let it dry, give it an hour or so, and then let it, and the second coat just protects it. And the final part is to add some grease, and I like the AK Interactive shafts and bearing grease, I think it's called. And we just touch that in places where oil and grease would be. You don't need to be too fussy with this, because it will it does sort of run, and it finds its own way. It looks quite nice. And then when it dries, it will be slightly gloss, so it gives an appearance of wet grease. So I tend to do around the axles and the suspension and a couple of joins, and obviously on the bumpers, the buffers. And again, don't be too fussy, it will find its own way in the end.
So that's the first one of our 3 done. Just using pretty much just airbrush techniques, apart from a little bit at the end. If you don't have an airbrush, then next week's video will be one to watch. That's just going to use brush techniques. So hopefully you'll agree that it looks a little bit better than it did before. The weathering has added a bit of value to that, and hopefully it'll be a little bit more attractive to our buyers on eBay. Fingers crossed. So until video 2, stay safe, happy modelling. We'll see you soon. Oh, don't forget, subscribe, ding the bell and stuff. Bye for now. Bye bye.